A like and a comment go a long way in supporting news stories. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thank you. She dropped her bag, didn't even look at me, and went straight to the bedroom. I was standing by the stove, flipping the last burger in the pan, grease popping and hissing. Smelled like dinner. I'd already set the table, 2 plates, buns toasted, a bottle of ketchup between them. I called out, "You want one?" No answer. Just the soft click of the bedroom door. I stared at it for a second, spatula in hand. Something in my gut twisted. Not anger, not yet. Just that dull sinking feeling. Like you're talking to someone through glass and realizing they're not listening anymore. That was the first moment I really felt it. The shift. Before that, it was small things. But this was a door quietly closing and staying closed. But let me start at the beginning. I'm Rick, 34. Been installing air conditioners for over 10 years. My truck's older than I'd like to admit, but it still gets me where I need to be. Every summer, I sweat through 3 shirts a day crawling through attics, dragging 50-pound units up stairwells, trying not to cuss when someone's golden retriever jumps on me while I'm trying to fix their compressor. Winter slows down, mostly service calls, filter changes, and tune-ups. It's honest work. You show up, fix something, and leave people better than you found them. Doesn't get much simpler. I met Beth on a Thursday. I remember because it was humid as hell, the kind of day where your shirt sticks to your back before you finish your morning coffee. Dispatch sent me out to a third-floor walk-up downtown. Beth had put in a work order for a wall unit on her balcony. Nothing fancy, just a decent install job. When I got there, she opened the door like she was in the middle of something, phone still in hand, hair pulled back, barefoot, but with that put-together vibe. She pointed toward the balcony, already talking about BTUs and outlet access, like she'd done her homework. I like that. I did the job, cleaned up after myself, noticed her breaker was a mess, and rewired it right. Just something quick, nothing I charged her for. When I finished, she offered me a sandwich. Ham and cheese. We ate at her tiny kitchen table, and she asked me more questions than any client ever had about my work, the tools, the heat, the routes I drive. Her tone was casual, but her eyes were locked on me. I remember thinking, she's not just being polite. A week later, she called again. Said the unit was making a noise. It wasn't, but I went anyway. After that, things moved quick. I wasn't used to women like Beth. She was sharp, worked in HR for a big regional firm, knew how to talk, how to hold eye contact just long enough to make you wonder what she was thinking. She liked order. Her apartment was small but spotless. Even her spice rack was alphabetized. Still, she had this laugh that came out full volume and unfiltered when something actually cracked her up. I liked hearing it. Made me want to say something funny just to earn it. We started spending nights together. At first, it was me crashing on her couch after long days. Then it was both of us on the couch. Then her dragging me to the bed. Then me bringing over a bag with a change of clothes and leaving it there. I don't remember when we made it official. It just happened. Easy. We made a good team. She worked 9 to 5, came home tired, but still made time to help me cook. I'd prep, she'd chop. Her soups were my favorite. Carrot, lentil, sometimes just whatever was in the fridge. We'd sit on the floor some nights, eating off the coffee table, watching dumb crime dramas. Her legs over mine, her toes cold against my calf. The apartment smelled like her lavender shampoo, faint, but always there. It started to feel like home before I even realized I'd moved in. One night, early on, we sat out on the balcony with beers. It was late, warm breeze coming through, and she said, "You ever think about a house?" I looked at her. "You thinking about leaving this palace?" She laughed. "Don't mock the Saga bookshelf. It gives the place character." I shrugged. "Maybe one day. House, yard, real kitchen." She leaned on my shoulder. "You'd build a deck, right? Only if you mow the lawn." That was us. Light. Easy. I thought it was solid. But somewhere along the way, it started to shift. Not fast. More like a slow leak in a sealed system, pressure dropping bit by bit, until the unit stops working and you're left wondering why the air's not cold anymore. At first, it was just tiredness. Long days, late nights. She started going to bed early, earbuds in, back turned. I figured work was draining her. Happens. I didn't push. Then she started waking up earlier. Not just early, like 4:30 a.m. early. She said she liked having time to herself in the morning. Said the quiet helped her think. I'd wake up, find her gone, coffee mug in the sink still warm. I'd make myself eggs, eat standing up, and head out. I told myself it was temporary. A phase. Maybe she was stressed. HR people deal with a lot of crap. Firings, complaints, politics. I figured it would pass. It didn't. I tried keeping things normal. Bought her favorite takeout on Fridays. Cleaned the bathroom without being asked. Made her tea when she had headaches. Sometimes she'd nod, say thanks. Sometimes she wouldn't say anything at all. Conversations got thin. One-word replies. Half smiles. She stopped asking about my day. I'd come home dusty and sunburned, and she'd be on the couch, laptop open, earbuds in. No, hi. No, how was it out there? Just silence. I started talking less too. What was the point? I remember this one Tuesday, long, nasty day, unit failure on the roof of a 20-story condo. I was fried, hands scratched up, back aching. I came home, smelled pasta, felt a flicker of hope. Hey, I said. You made spaghetti? She didn't even look up. It's for meal prep, she said, measuring portions into Tupperware. I stood there, sweat still drying on my shirt. Cool, I said, and went to the bedroom. Ate chips for dinner. You know what's worse than fighting? Indifference. When someone doesn't even care enough to get mad at you. That's where we landed. And I still didn't know why. No clue what I'd done, what had changed. I started wondering if she was just tired of me. My job, my hands always rough, my clothes smelling like aluminum and duct tape. I knew I wasn't flashy. I didn't wear suits or talk corporate. But I'd always shown up. Always cared. And then, one day, I bumped into her sister Karen on the stairwell. Karen's a nurse. Mid-30s, sharp tongue, soft heart. She knows people. Can read them like charts. She was carrying takeout, probably after a night shift. Looked me over, cocked her head. You good, Rick? You look like someone stuck a wrench in your ribs. I gave a half smile. Just work. She glanced toward our door. Beth's been off. I don't know. Pulled back. Not letting anyone in lately. Been like that for a while. A while? I asked. Karen nodded. Yeah, you don't see it. I didn't know what to say. Just shook my head. If you need to talk, she added, call me. Seriously, I said I would. Never did. But her words stuck with me. The more I looked, the more I saw it. Beth wasn't tired. She was gone, emotionally checked out, living like a roommate who barely tolerated my presence. And no matter what I tried, I couldn't bring her back. One night I got home, and she was watching something on her laptop. I kissed her head. She flinched. Not like scared, just annoyed. Like I'd interrupted. I didn't kiss her again after that. And the worst part? I started getting used to it. But I shouldn't have. I'll stop here for now. The night she snapped at me in the diner still sits in my chest like a bruise. We were out with one of her coworkers, Lisa. Beth had insisted we go, said Lisa had just transferred in from another city and didn't know anyone. I didn't mind. I figured it'd be good to get out of the apartment, maybe see Beth smile a little, talk like we used to. Lisa was nice enough. Mid-30s, artsy vibe, kept talking about her dog. I tried to follow along, even made a few jokes. At some point, I mentioned this job I had a few days earlier. Tight crawl space, faulty unit. Had to rig a fix with zip ties and a prayer. Lisa laughed. It wasn't that funny, but it landed. Beth didn't even smile. Instead, she cut in. Nobody cares about your AC units. Rick. It was sharp. Too sharp. Lisa looked down at her coffee like she wanted to disappear. I gave a tight grin, swallowed whatever smart-ass thing I was about to say, and just said, guess not. The drive home was quiet. I kept my eyes on the road, hands gripping the wheel harder than I needed to. After a few blocks, I finally said, that was a bit much, don't you think? Beth didn't look up from her phone. What? You didn't have to say that back there. I was just talking. She sighed, exasperated, like I was dragging her into a chore. You were boring her, Rick. I saved you from yourself. I didn't respond. What was I supposed to say? Thanks. I just clenched my jaw and kept driving, streetlights sliding across the windshield like cold waves. From that point on, I stopped trying to talk in public. Let her lead the conversation, keep the spotlight. I stayed in my lane. But even at home, the distance grew. She'd come in late, say she had team drinks or a strategy workshop. I didn't ask questions. Not because I didn't care, but because every time I did, she'd look at me like I was policing her. Like I was needy. One Friday, I made her favorite, chili with cornbread. Took my time with it, slow simmer, extra cumin. Set the table. Lit a stupid candle even. She walked in, saw the food, and said, oh, I already ate. That was it. No thanks. No, looks great. Just walked past it like it was a display in a furniture store. I stared at the untouched bowls for a minute, then dumped both servings in Tupperware and shoved them into the fridge. I slept on the couch that night. Again. And still I tried. I left little notes. Just dumb things. Good luck today. Or get some sleep tonight. They vanished from the counter, but she never mentioned them. One morning, I heard her in the bathroom on the phone. Not whispering, but low enough that I couldn't make out the words. The door was half open. She was brushing her hair with one hand, holding her phone with the other, nodding and murmuring. When she saw me in the mirror, she flinched. Not startled, caught. She stepped into the hallway, shut the door behind her. I stood there, toothbrush in hand, staring at the empty bathroom like an idiot. That weekend, we were in the car on the way to get groceries. I figured we could stop for a beer after. Maybe sit outside, pretend for an hour that we still liked each other. Want to grab a drink later? I asked, eyes on the road. She was scrolling through her phone. Can't. I've got reports to finish. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. You always have work lately. She sighed. Loud. Long, not everything's about you, Rick. It hit like a gut punch. Not what she said. How she said it. Like I was a burden. Like me even asking for a sliver of her time was exhausting. I didn't say another word the rest of the drive. Back home, she dumped the groceries on the counter and disappeared into the bedroom. I shelved everything in silence. Soup cans, pasta, cereal. Her oat milk. My six-pack. The house was quiet again. Always quiet. That night, I pulled out my phone and scrolled through old pictures. Us on the balcony with beers. Her in one of my flannels, flipping pancakes. A video where I tried to teach her how to use a power drill, and she cracked up when it jerked sideways. I watched that one 3 times. Where the hell did that girl go? I didn't ask her anymore. I didn't try to fix it. Something in me stopped reaching. One afternoon, I came home early, canceled job. She wasn't expecting me. Her laptop was open on the table, and her screen showed a calendar app. Color-coded blocks. Meetings, gym sessions, reminders. I looked closer. One recurring item caught my eye. Solo evening, decompress. Every Tuesday. Every Thursday. I wasn't on the calendar. Not even once. No date night. No Rick. Not even a damn dinner together. I didn't touch anything. Just closed the screen and sat on the edge of the couch for a while. The next day, I took a longer route to work. Just drove a little farther than usual, radio low, coffee in hand. Needed space. Not the kind she kept asking for. Mine. And then came the garage scene. I was at the kitchen table cleaning my tool heads. Solvent, rag, some grease, nothing out of the ordinary. I laid them out neatly, working the grime out of the ratchet. She walked in, took one whiff, and gagged. Seriously? She said, waving her hand. Can you not do that in here? It's just solvent. It'll clear in 10 minutes. Rick, I'm not living in a damn auto shop. I paused, looked up. You think I like bringing work home? I don't exactly have a workshop. She didn't answer, just grabbed her laptop and walked out. That one stayed with me, not because of what she said, but because of how easily she dismissed everything I was. My job, my tools, the thing that kept us in that apartment. I texted Karen that night. Me, you busy? Karen, what's up? Me. Just, do you think Beth's always been like this, and I didn't see it? Karen, no. She's pulling away. It's not you. You've been patient. Me, yeah? Too patient, maybe. She didn't reply for a few minutes. Then, Karen, you don't have to stick around just because it used to be good. I stared at that for a while. I didn't reply. The next morning, I packed a small bag. Just some essentials. Left it in the truck. Didn't know if I'd need it. But I knew I was close. Close to that edge where you stop making excuses for someone else and start protecting what little of yourself you have left. And honestly, I was tired of sleeping on couches in my own damn home. The Wednesday it all broke. I was already beat before I walked through the door. It had been one of those jobs where nothing goes right. A strip mall unit on its last legs, rusted bolts, fried control board, and a compressor that screamed like a dying cat every time I tested it. The client hovered the whole time, asking if I'd tried, turning it off and on again. I was up and down ladders for 5 hours straight, skin cooked red from the sun, boots soaked with some kind of back-dripping coolant. By the time I got home, it was nearly 10 p.m. My shirt stuck to me, my knuckles were scraped raw, and I smelled like Freon and sweat. All I wanted was to kick off my boots, maybe grab a beer, and sit in silence for 20 minutes before a shower. Maybe, just maybe, Beth would say hi. Maybe she'd ask how the day was. I wasn't holding my breath, but part of me still hoped. I pushed the front door open quietly. The apartment was dark except for a soft glow from under the bedroom door. The kitchen was spotless. No dishes, no signs of dinner. The silence wrapped around me like fog. I stepped inside, set my bag down gently, and made my way toward the bedroom. And then I saw it. Bright yellow, bold letters, slapped dead center on the door like a hotel room. Do not disturb. Personal space. At first, my brain didn't register it. I just stood there, keys still in hand, staring. It was one of those sticky office door signs, laminated, with a rotating wheel underneath to mark available or busy. Hers said busy. My own bedroom. My own wife. And she'd put a damn sticker on the door like I was a hotel maid. My jaw tightened. I didn't move. I just kept staring. My boots felt glued to the floor. My hands went numb. Fingers still curled around the keys like I might drop them if I let go. Inside, I felt something slow and heavy roll over. Not anger. Not sadness. Just finality. Cold, blunt, clean. I didn't knock. I didn't call her name. I just turned away, walked to the kitchen, pulled a pen from the drawer, tore a blank sheet off the back of a receipt pad, and pressed it flat on the counter. My handwriting was tight and sharp. Then we're done. I'll file for divorce soon. I read it twice. Didn't add anything. Didn't cross anything out. Folded it once, cleaned down the middle, and slipped it under the bedroom door. I stood there for a second, waiting for a sound, footsteps, a question, anything. Nothing. Not even a creak of the bed. I went to the closet, grabbed my jacket, snagged my spare phone charger from the living room, checked the fridge, took the six-pack I'd been saving, and shut the door softly behind me. The hallway smelled like old carpet and microwave takeout. Someone's TV was echoing down the stairwell. Faint laughs from a sitcom track. I walked to my truck. Didn't start it right away. Just sat there, hands on the wheel, engine off, headlights pointed at the dark. My phone buzzed once, probably a promo email or weather alert. I didn't check. Instead, I pulled up Karen's contact, stared at her name for a second, then tapped call. She picked up on the second ring. Hey, I need a place tonight. Her voice softened. You okay? No. She didn't ask why, just said, doors open. I've got beer in the fridge. Couch is clear. I drove 20 minutes across town. Didn't play music. Didn't open the windows. Just silence and the low hum of the tires on pavement. When I got to her place, she met me at the door in sweats, barefoot, hair in a bun. She looked at me like I'd aged 10 years since she last saw me. Didn't ask questions. Didn't say, I told you so. She just handed me a cold can and pointed to the couch. I dropped down onto the cushions, popped the tab, and took a long pull. It burned on the way down. Not in a bad way. Just enough to remind me I was still alive. Karen sat in the recliner, legs tucked up. You want to talk about it? I shook my head. Not yet. She nodded. Cool. Just drink then. We'll talk when your face looks less like a tire fire. That made me crack the ghost of a smile. We sat in silence for a bit. Not awkward, just quiet. The kind of silence you get with someone who doesn't expect you to perform. I finished the beer, leaned back, and stared at the ceiling fan. I stood there, you know. I said finally, read that damn sign like it was in another language. Do not disturb. I wasn't trying to disturb anything. I just lived there. Karen didn't interrupt. I'd been out all day, fixing crap, breaking my back, trying to make enough to keep the lights on, and she's in there with her laminated sign like I'm the problem. Karen exhaled through her nose. You're not the problem. I nodded slowly. Yeah, I know that now. The next morning, I woke up early, body stiff from the couch. Karen had left a note. Coffee's in the pot. Bagels in the bread box. Eat something, dumbass. I chuckled. After breakfast, I drove back to the apartment. Not to go inside, just to see. Her car was gone. I unlocked the front door, walked in. Everything was quiet. The sign was gone from the bedroom. The note I'd slid under the door was still there, unfolded on the floor. I didn't touch it. Just stood there, looking at our old apartment like it was a stranger's place. Too neat. Too still. I packed a duffel. Just clothes, tools, charger, my shaving kit. I left everything else. Didn't feel like mine anymore. Before I walked out, I left my key on the counter. No note. No farewell. Some things don't need a conversation. The first few weeks at Karen's were strange. Not bad, just quiet. Her apartment was smaller, cluttered in that lived-in way. A half-built puzzle took up most of the kitchen table. Shoes always by the door, fridge covered in magnets. It smelled like laundry and citrus candles. I slept on her couch with a blanket that barely covered me and a throw pillow that had sequins on one side. Every morning, she'd be gone before I woke up, her scrubs laid out on the bathroom door, note on the counter, eggs in the fridge. Use the nonstick pan this time. I didn't talk much. She didn't push. Instead, I threw myself into work. I picked up every job I could. Weekends, evenings, early mornings, I said yes to all of it. My phone never left my pocket. My hands stayed busy. There was something comforting about it. The routine, the weight of a unit on my shoulder, the buzz of a drill, the steady hum of airflow when everything clicked. It was the one place I still felt useful. I didn't tell most people what happened. My boss thought I moved out to be closer to the shop. A couple of coworkers joked about my bachelor life, and I let them. No point unpacking something that was already packed and left behind. Karen kept asking if I wanted to start looking for my own place. I said I was thinking about it, but I wasn't. Not really. I wasn't ready to set up again. Not yet. Then, about 2 months later, I saw Beth again. It was a Saturday. I just finished an install out near the park. Nice little duplex, young couple expecting a baby. They were happy, nervous, full of hope. Reminded me of something I used to feel. I stopped at a coffee shop on the way back. Just needed to sit for 10 minutes, cool off, caffeine up. I walked in, ordered a black coffee, and turned around. There she was, Beth, standing in line behind me. She looked the same, maybe a little paler. Same sharp blazer, same high bun. But there was something different in her face. Tight around the mouth. Eyes tired in a way makeup couldn't hide. She froze when she saw me. Not dramatic, Just a subtle shift, like her spine straightened half an inch. I nodded. Hey. She blinked, then gave a small smile. Hey. We stood there in that weird bubble of silence. My coffee order came up. I grabbed the cup and lingered, unsure if I should just walk out or say something more. She beat me to it. Can we talk for a minute? I looked around. Place was half empty. Quiet enough. I shrugged. Sure. We sat by the window. She didn't order anything. Just sat across from me, hands clasped, staring down at her fingers. For a moment, I felt that old ache rise up. That mix of familiarity and distance, like staring at a photo of a place you used to live. I read your note, she said finally. I sipped my coffee. Figured. I didn't think you'd actually leave. I raised an eyebrow. You put a sign on our bedroom door telling me not to disturb you. She winced. I know. I wasn't thinking clearly. I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed. You were thinking clearly enough to print it and stick it on the door. She looked down. I didn't mean for it to hurt you. I let that hang for a second, then said, you didn't think about me at all, Beth. That was the problem. She swallowed. I've been going to therapy. Good, I said. Hope it's helping. It is. I've been looking at how I treated you, and I wasn't fair. I pushed you out without even realizing it. No. I corrected. You realized it. You just didn't care until I actually walked. That shut her up. She nodded slowly. You're right. We sat in silence again. Outside, a dog barked. Someone laughed near the patio. I miss you, she said finally. Not just the routine. You. Us. I looked at her for a long time. There was a time those words would have cracked me wide open. A time I would have leaned in, tried to fix it, tried to rebuild. But that time was gone. Burned out, like a fuse that's blown and can't be reset. I miss what we used to be, I said. But I don't miss how it ended. And I can't pretend like that version of us still exists. She blinked quickly. Maybe tears. Maybe just tired. I'm not asking to go back, she said. I needed to say it. I nodded. Okay. She stood. Take care of yourself, Rick. You too, Beth. She walked out. Didn't look back. I finished my coffee, watched the foam settle at the bottom, and tossed the cup. And that was that. It's been 6 months now. I moved into a small place across town. 1 bedroom, nothing fancy. Tools stacked by the door, mini fridge stocked with beer and leftover pasta. The kind of place that's just quiet enough when you want it to be. I see Karen every Sunday. She brings takeout. I fix whatever's broken in her apartment. We don't talk about Beth anymore. Doesn't need to be said. Work steady. I'm saving up for a used boat. Don't ask me why. I just like the idea of floating in the middle of nowhere, no one asking me to fix anything. Some nights, I sit on my tiny balcony with a beer, listening to the sounds of the city. Sometimes I think about the way Beth used to curl up next to me, how we laughed at bad TV. Sometimes I think about that damn yellow sign and how something so small can say so much. But mostly, I don't think about her at all. I just breathe. And that's enough. Anyway, that's how it went. I'm not saying I handled it perfect, but I handled it the way I had to. What do you think, though? Would you have stuck around longer? Or walked sooner? Be honest, I can take it.